If Meghan Markle is involved, expect the spotlight to shift. At the Alliance for Children's Rights event, Kelly Zadfin was meant to be honored, but Meghan hovered close, drawing attention. She even shared a photo of herself watching Kelly's speech, nearly blocking her from view. On the carpet, she positioned herself front and center until someone had to step in and say, "Hey, maybe Kelly should be in the middle." The event played out like a spectacle, camera stares, exaggerated smiles, and a red carpet moment that felt overdone. It added to the growing contradictions surrounding Meghan's narrative. Not long ago, Prince Harry repeated that the press attention had made her life miserable, even calling it a nightmare. But watching this, it didn't quite match that image. Meghan appeared energized by the spotlight, not burdened by it, which raised an obvious question. Does this look like someone living a nightmare? At the same time, reports suggest Netflix is growing frustrated with Meghan and Harry over undelivered promises, leading to a scaled-back deal and distance from their projects. Yet here, Meghan was all smiles, holding Kelly's pregnant stomach and reacting with dramatic excitement. Watching closely though, the laughter didn't seem to match the moment. Nothing particularly funny was happening. It felt forced, almost performative, like she was playing to the cameras rather than sharing a genuine reaction. Some describe this pattern as overwhelming affection up front, attention that feels intense, only to serve a purpose. It's a dynamic people have started to question more openly. Meanwhile, whispers from Montecito suggest neighbors aren't exactly embracing them. Not out of dislike, but from what some describe as quiet exhaustion, an impression that they take more than they give. Kelly, for her part, is deeply respected. As co-founder of Alliance of Moms, she supports young mothers in foster care and has been open about personal loss after her son George passed away in 2022. She has publicly appreciated Meghan and Harry's support during that time. But looking at these moments, some can't help but wonder what's really driving this connection. Because suddenly, Meghan is everywhere Kelly is, at major events, celebrations, and milestones. Despite knowing each other for years, their closeness seems to have intensified only recently, so it leaves one lingering question. Is this genuine friendship or something more strategic? The red carpet spotlight shift. Watch as Meghan pulls Kelly into a big, almost over-the-top hug, and that's exactly where the performance kicks in. In that moment, it feels like Meghan is already thinking, how do I turn Kelly's big night, her first red carpet appearance with her pregnant belly, into something about me? Then she glances down, and there it is. Her hand goes straight onto Kelly's belly. Kelly then naturally places her own hands on her stomach, and instantly Meghan mirrors it, stepping right back into the spotlight. This moment actually means everything for Kelly. She's expecting a baby boy, 3 years after losing her 9-year-old son, and on top of that, she's the one being honored that night. But somehow, it feels like to even get to Kelly, you have to get past Meghan first. Then Meghan leans in further, angling herself for those perfect shots, laughing as she poses with Kelly's belly, while subtly pushing Kelly's head aside. Kelly leans back and laughs along even though nothing was said. The laughter doesn't match, but it fills the moment anyway. And the entire time, Meghan looks completely in her element, thriving under the cameras, soaking up every second. You can see it in how she reacts, instantly responding to directions even when no one is speaking to her. No one is even addressing her here, yet she can't hide the excitement. And what really stands out about Meghan is how focused she is on getting the perfect shot. You can see it in every move. And sure, that's the point of a red carpet, to pose, to be photographed. But here, it doesn't feel natural. It feels forced. The laughs we saw earlier, they don't quite land. Even the affectionate, close poses feel staged, like something she's actively performing rather than simply experiencing. At one point, she turns toward Kelly, who's clearly just following her lead the entire time. And then, just like that, Meghan places herself right in the middle for the group photos, until someone has to step in and remind her, hey, maybe Kelly should be in the middle. It's a small moment, but it says a lot. Because throughout all of this, Meghan keeps that same fixed smile, almost like she's aware that every expression is being watched, analyzed, and remembered. Then another woman joins the group and thanks Meghan for her support, but Meghan barely acknowledges her, too focused on the cameras to fully respond. Instead, she keeps the energy going, laughing, joking, anything to stay in that spotlight just a little longer. And once again, when the group settles, who ends up in the center? Meghan, not Kelly, the one being honored, the one who's pregnant. moment, the one this night is supposed to be about. And maybe that thought doesn't even cross Meghan's mind, because the attention feels too natural, too comfortable. On its own, that wouldn't be an issue. But when it's paired with everything else, the public complaints, the ongoing scrutiny, the expectations, it starts to clash with the image being presented. And then there's the bigger picture, the overly bright smiles, the constant upbeat energy. It almost feels like a response, like she's trying to project that everything is perfectly fine, even when the narrative around her suggests otherwise. And notably, Harry isn't there. He often isn't, unless the moment directly connects back to him. It creates a pattern that's hard to ignore. The behavior continues indoors. Once inside, nothing really changes. Meghan is still right there with Kelly, staying close, even pulling her into yet another hug backstage as cameras circle them from every angle. At this point, it starts to feel excessive. They've already shared countless hugs throughout the night for the cameras, so adding yet another one feels more like part of the act than anything genuine. Meanwhile, people begin approaching Meghan to greet her, and Kelly's expression starts to shift. There's a moment where she looks slightly drained, almost over it, while Meghan keeps that same bright camera-ready smile, and it makes sense. Kelly is heavily pregnant, clearly exhausted, and has been through a lot. But with every camera flash, Meghan seems to light up even more, like the attention is fueling her energy rather than draining it. Then comes a small but telling moment. When it's mentioned that they'll take just one photo instead of dozens more, Kelly seems ready to move on, as if she's hoping to wrap things up. But Meghan, who has been smiling and engaging all night, briefly slips. For a split second, it looks like her expression tightens, almost like she's masking disappointment while trying to maintain that same polished smile. It's subtle, but noticeable, and of course, it doesn't end there. Meghan later shares a full recap of the night, clearly documented from start to finish. From walking hand in hand with Kelly, to red carpet moments, to positioning herself front and center, to those exaggerated laughing shots. It's all there. By the end of it, one thing stands out. She never really lets Kelly out of her frame. She probably couldn't believe she was standing beside the woman of the hour, instead of being on the outside looking in, like so many A-list Hollywood moments tend to go. But who's counting? As they made their way inside, Meghan kept turning her head back toward the photographers, almost saying goodbye with every glance. And if you look closely at her body language, it's noticeable. Kelly is already moving forward, while Meghan is still angled toward the cameras. It almost took a gentle pull to get her off the red carpet, as she continued thanking photographers while stepping away. Those specific shots were taken right when photographers were asking for a solo moment. And honestly, it's not surprising that there weren't any solo photos from her end this time. It felt like she was giving the spotlight to Kelly. At the same time, the entire night made it hard to even focus on Kelly without Meghan naturally stepping into frame. Even during the moments meant to honor Kelly, Meghan's presence stayed dominant. We've seen similar patterns before. At the 2024 Children's Hospital Gala, Meghan did take multiple solo shots and was even guided to keep moving down the carpet until she spotted Kelly taking her own solo photos, then immediately returned to her side, prompting visible reactions from the photographers. Throughout the carpet, Meghan kept striking poses, even holding still for candid walking shots while Kelly followed just behind her. It's interesting, especially considering Kelly was the guest of honor that night, yet the positioning often made it feel reversed. I don't even think Kelly managed to get any solo shots that night, because the moment she stepped onto the carpet, Meghan was already right there beside her. And if you look up photos from that event, it's almost entirely images of Kelly with Meghan. That makes sense in one way. Meghan is the bigger public name. But still, Kelly was technically the guest of honor, even if she was treated more like a +1 in those moments. At one point, Meghan is seen standing firmly on the carpet, legs spread, clearly not in any rush to move along despite being guided forward multiple times. She was practically planted there, fully committed to staying in the frame. She even moved backward on the carpet just to continue posing, this time with the CEO of the Children's Hospital, Paul Viviano. It's rare to see someone actively walking backward just to extend the photo moment. She tends to attach herself closely to whoever is drawing attention, and that's simply an observation from everything shown here. It does raise the question, if Kelly wasn't connected to an organization that opened these doors, would Meghan still be this present at every opportunity beside her? At the George Zen tennis tournament, the dynamic shifts again. Kelly is speaking, and Meghan appears visibly emotional, even tearing up. She stands directly in front of Harry while cameras focus on Kelly's speech, and for a moment, she holds that expression, forcing out a single tear. Some might see it as genuine emotion, but based on the pattern, it comes across as more performative than spontaneous. Back to Meghan's real moment, there's a clip from inside the event showing her walking through the venue while being filmed, laughing uncontrollably with two women in what appears to be a bathroom, likely staff working the event. Meghan, of course, seems to make sure it's captured, almost as if to say, look, I'm not treating staff badly like people claim. The women appear delighted to meet her, smiling and engaging with her energy, while Meghan leans into the moment as if it's completely spontaneous. And since no one is making fan edits of her, she appears to be making her own. This segment feels like a direct response to the Variety magazine expos, which painted a very different picture behind the scenes. Claims that she was difficult to work with, that Netflix staff didn't get along with her, that she would interrupt Harry in meetings, and that she would even ghost, Zoom calls, and later accuse others of offending her. Yet here she is, sharing a carefully framed clip of herself appearing warm and approachable with staff. The contrast is obvious. In this version, she's laughing, bonding, even watching them dance and briefly joining in. It's presented as proof of kindness, almost as if to counter every criticism at once. But the question remains, how much of it is curated versus natural? It raises skepticism about whether this is a genuine moment or a controlled image reset, especially when the narrative off camera has been so different. She also includes her speech in the recap, which is fairly restrained compared to usual. When introducing Kelly, she doesn't dwell on herself too much. It almost feels like there's a tighter strategy in place this time, like someone is carefully keeping the focus in check. If you enjoyed this one, hit subscribe for more, and drop a comment below. Do you think this is all overblown, or is there more to it than meets the eye?